Weapons magazine!
Hi guys, and here we are in Starfighter Assault once again, and we are going to be going through the main objectives and a few top tips for Endor. So essentially the Death Star has been destroyed. This is the debris of it all, and we're trying to keep going with the fight as the Empire. So we're going to show it from the defensive side here, and then we're going to show you how to attack it later on in the video. So here we are in Endor. So we're in the kind of an orbit around Endor, and you can see there's a lot of debris, and that makes this a particularly challenging environment to fight in. Number one, you've got way more obstacles to get around in. And secondly, there's just lots of opportunities for the enemy to creep up on you out of nowhere. So you've kind of got to watch where you're going and make sure you react really quickly if you start to take damage. So you can see here we're not going after the Corvettes straight away, and the reason for that is because if you just go straight after the Corvettes, you will get chewed up really quickly. So it's a better idea to take out some of the enemy, and then you are free to be able to go after the Corvette and wrap up the points by just shooting the hell out of it. So we're still here, we're still trying to maneuver around all the debris that's in the way, and we're still trying to take out as many of the opposition before we go after the Corvette. So each wave you kind of head in, it's a good idea to take out just the odd one or two enemies if you can. Now, if you're struggling to do that, you can check out our full tips video for Starfighter Assault. But equally, you just need to work on your aiming a little bit, and this will come by just making sure that if you're tracking a moving enemy, try to track ahead of it so that you definitely get some shots in. And then secondly, try to aim at enemies further away. That way you'll be able to take them out and have more time to work on the Corvettes. And once you've taken out all of the Corvettes, your next job is to destroy the mines. And the mines are even more difficult than the Corvettes because they're stuck behind all this debris. So you can see them there in the distance, and I'm in Slave 1, and I'm just shooting into nothing because it's protected by all this debris. So you've kind of got to maneuver around the debris to be able to get to it. And a part of that is going after the enemy once again. So just try and take out the odd one or two. Make sure you kind of spend a bit of time taking these out, and once you've done that, it will surprise you how much free space and time you have then to be able to take out the mines themselves. So there you go, tracking the enemies, trying to weave in and around all the debris, keep following them around, and you will eventually take them out. And then as you weave around all the debris, you will find yourself stumbling on some of the mines. Now here you can see you've got a couple that are fairly close together. So we can spend a good amount of time trying to get in as many hits as possible on that mine itself. So once you've taken the hit on the mine, you've got to get away from it, and then you've got to spin back around to be able to attack it. So just keep heading in with more waves of attack, and you will eventually find yourself with clear spots on the mines. Now, if you do find yourself here where you've got a couple close together, you can get in one hell of a lot of attacks and take one out. And that gives you freedom to then look around to see what else you can take out. So as soon as you've taken out one of the mines, try and smash up some of the fighters that are going after your guys to be able to go back and turn around and come back at the mines. So it's twofold attack. Go for the mines, go for the enemy, go for the mines, go for the enemy, and you will just rack up a hell of a lot more points as a result and get yourself closer to more victories. So again, we're just circling back around, and we've got another mine. So if you get yourself in this perfect position, you can just keep going around and around until somebody eventually takes you out. Now if you really wanted to, you can get yourself out of this and try to fight them. But honestly, sometimes it's just better just to get in the attacks on the main objectives. And here you can see us getting the team a little bit closer to be able to finish off the win. So here we are in the next phase, and essentially in between the main phases, it will just send you off after the attackers, after the enemy. So in this case, just try and take out and pick off a few of the enemy fighters, especially weak ones like this dude, who is going down any second now. So that is that one eliminated. And just keep trying to take out a few attackers. So there you can see we're kind of tracking the enemies and trying to take them out. We're not going to go after the Millennium Falcon. We're just going to sort of circle back and see if it's anybody a little bit easier to take out. And here we can see this dude pretty much just begging to be shot down. So once you've cleared a few of the enemies, you can go back to attacking the MC-80. So it's kind of easier to start with these main areas at the top of the MC-80 and just try and get in your attacks, skim along the sides, and then come back for another wave of attacks on the enemy fighters. So kind of just hunt them down. It'll give you a bit of space to come back at the MC-80 a little bit later on, and you can keep up the fight. Once you've taken out the main areas on top, it's a case of getting underneath the MC-80 and attacking the bottom modules. And as soon as you've taken those out, you'll pretty much be ready to chalk up a bit of a conciliatory kind of victory for the Empire, having had the entire Death Star destroyed. So that was that side of things, and now it's time to look at it from the opposite side of the equation, with the light side. So it's pretty much the opposite of the dark side attack or the Empire attack, where you need to defend the Corvettes instead of attacking them. And to do that, it's a good idea to kind of stick close to the Corvettes and wait for people to come in and try to take it out. And there you can see we managed to pick up a couple of easy eliminations just by sort of staying close to the Corvettes, hanging back, waiting for somebody to come in for an attack, and then we can go after them. Now obviously you've still got a lot of rubble and debris to kind of maneuver around, but it does give you an easy opportunity to be able to pick up eliminations. So just sort of hold back, avoid all the rubble that gets in the way, and get in your eliminations when you can. If you can kind of keep tracking people, especially the bombers, you should be able to get in a fair few eliminations by taking it on this way. And obviously it's a good idea to use your ship's capabilities as much as possible. And there you can see us using the ion cannon for the Y-wing, which is kind of a really cool one to use, but make sure you kind of know how to use all of the abilities for your ship, which will allow you to pick up way more eliminations as you kind of fight it out here in space. And you can see the rebel forces have now moved on to the second phase of their attack or defense of this section, which is to protect the mines that have been laid down to stop the Empire. So essentially, like the Corvettes, it's about staying close to the mines. But the difference is the mines don't move, so you kind of just need to be in and around the main area where the mines are, and the enemy will essentially come to you. Now, there's a lot of rubble around, so obviously you're going to try to avoid that, but you should be able to maneuver fairly well and be able to stay out of the way and still pick up the eliminations as you go. And that's essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to take out these bombers as they come in, so the more these bombers you take out, the longer the mines will hold, and then additionally sort of taking out any TIE fighters or anybody else that might be trying to get in their attack on the mines. So there you can see us picking a couple of good bomber eliminations and really adding to our points tally or battle points, which are kind of really racking up now. However, if the beleaguered Empire manage to make it through the mine section, you will now be faced with the protection of the MC-80. So here, instead of targeting the ship, the aim is to try and stop as many of the Gits trying to get it. So again, just try and get as close as possible to the location of the MC-80, stick around that area and take out anyone that is attacking it. So essentially you've got a few here and you've got a big wave of bombers coming in. So essentially for me, a big wave of bombers indicates a huge amount of people that we can potentially eliminate and more potential for points. So they're a good opportunity to kind of trail after. So you can see kind of here just going after these bombers, but they're kind of slippery suckers. So you've got to keep trailing them and following them until you can get in the attack. And eventually it kind of pays off, because you will be able to get in some serious eliminations. So here you can see one, there is two. So it is worth really doggedly trying to chase them down, because there you can see us picking up 4,000 points from that huge effort, which has allowed us to return to the battle in Poe Dameron's X-Wing, which is pretty cool. because not only is it really responsive and quite powerful in terms of its gunning capabilities, but it also has the Black Leader ability, which will allow you to show the location of enemy ships to everybody in your team within kind of a certain proximity to you. So it's really helpful at the end of the game, in particular at this stage, to kind of show everybody on your team where everybody is, which will allow them to pick up more hits and allow you to go for the victory. So it's quite a good one to pick up right at the end if you're on the team that is defending something like a huge ship or any kind of big object. So at this stage, it's all about taking out enemy ships, and the more of these you can destroy quickly, the quicker you will go for the victory. So the aim is to protect the MC-80, but to do this, you'll be taking out bombers, you'll be taking out TIE fighters, you'll be taking out all the ships that you can see, and the quicker you can take them out, the quicker you will go for victory. So essentially just focus on all of these ships. Make sure you kind of target them as well as possible, and that hint about targeting a little bit in front of them will help you pick up more eliminations. So we're getting closer and closer to the victory now. You can see they've only got 7 left, and in fact that has just gone down to 2, and they're now done. So everybody pulled together and went for the victory. So hopefully that will help you out when you're taking on Endor yourself. And if you've got any of your own tips to add in, throw them in the comments below. Thank you very much for tuning into our video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more gaming videos in the future. Hit that like button, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.